those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Wednesday episode of Running Point. Anthony Hartwig alongside Mr. Richie Giuliano, who is making not his Running Point debut, but I guess a debut as a consistent guest host. You'll be joining us every Wednesday from here on out. Richie, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for filling this time slot.
I know I got a warm welcome coming
Oh,
in
yeah.
on this show because this is the one show all year that I come into, and we've got a packed house top to bottom.
Yeah, if you notice, we are starting a little bit early today. It's like 11:50 instead of noon, and it is because we wanted this to give us ourselves some time to kind of break down what this show is going to be, because I think it's the first time ever we have filled every single time slot with a guest. It is back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and it basically became a thing because we're doing Canfield volleyball seniors. They have 6 of them. And it was they're off because of Canfield break, and their coach said, this is the day they're free, which is today. And instead of trying to schedule them throughout the season and hit or miss if they're free or not, I just said let's just get them all 6 while they're free, right? Like let's just do it. And so we're gonna have all 6 of the Canfield senior volleyball players on starting at 12:15. Then they'll have one at 12:30. One at 12:45. We have Brian Tolnar at 1 with Mill Creek, like he always comes on. And then we'll have 3 more volleyball players from Canfield, 3 more seniors. And then, we kick off the show with Drew DeShields from West Branch, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the area.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one for sure. And I know for the Canfield seniors, they're enjoying their time off because it's the Canfield Fair coming up today, which they get the break. And usually they go to school for about 2 days, which is like syllabus day. You kind of mess around, and then you get the break from Wednesday all the way to Labor Day, which is Monday, and then you get right back into it. But for the volleyball team itself, they don't have a break because they play tonight against Mineral Ridge.
That's a legit game. Like a lot of people inside the Canfield School District might think, oh, we're playing small Mineral Ridge. Like, what the heck's that? No. Mineral Ridge is a legit volleyball team. This is going to be a fun one in Mineral Ridge, too.
Oh, Krista knows what she's doing for sure. I mean, look at the schedule that they bolstered up here in the early half of the season. They've already played Girard, who's one of the best teams in the Valley. They got Archbishop Hoban, who might be the best team in the state coming into this year. I don't think they've lost a set yet in 4 matches. They took on Western Reserve, who's really good, and then last night they beat Borman in 4 sets. So they've already stacked up their schedule, and it doesn't get any easier with Mineral Ridge here tonight.
No, and then they got McDonald over the weekend, who just came off a sweep of Western Reserve.
Yeah.
So if you think it gets any easier even this weekend, no. But yeah, like you said, Kristen Nesbitt knows what she's doing. We've had her on the show. You said welcome to the show. Warm welcome for you. How about welcome to varsity coaching? Here's your schedule.
I know. You know what? I think Krista did that on purpose, though, to test her players because they do have a more experienced group, as we know. We got 6 seniors coming on today to talk to us, and they've got a lot of juniors on their roster as well. So they were kind of built up for this opportunity this year to face some very stiff competition.
From the outside looking in, it didn't feel like they were experienced coming in because of what they lost and how impactful Abby Householder really was to this team.
Yeah.
So it felt like they weren't, but you look and you have 6 seniors on this team. Like those are all great leaders. They all have experience at the varsity level. It's like, no, they're still a pretty experienced group. It's just that Abby Householder took so much of the light last year, and obviously for good reasons. She had over 500 kills. Uh, she kind of made it seem like there wasn't a lot of experience on the team.
And how about when she started against Youngstown State?
Right,
She had 10 kills in the first weekend against Delaware State. So the
right.
Penguins are 2-1 with a younger team, and Householder is one of them. And you lose her, and you kind of come back. You get a new head coach, and you're going to think, oh, this might be a rebuild year, but that's not the case. I think Canfield's going to come back, and they're going to have a winning season.
She's not the only YSU connection either, because we have Maddie Cleveley coming on at some point today, and obviously her older sister also played at Youngstown State, and then you got to call a lot of her games as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
voice of the volleyball team.
That's one question I'm going to ask Maddie when she comes on. So she's watching right now. She already knows
Get
what
ready.
question that she's going to get. So she gets a bone there.
We got some results from last night that we'll go over real quick before Drew Shields comes on at noon. We had the 1 versus 2 volleyball matchup in the power rankings, Girard versus Lakeview. It was highly anticipated. It was built up to be a really good match, and it was. Lakeview came out in 4 sets. They were all close. They lost the first one. It was actually the least close set of the night was the one they lost to Girard 25-18. Then they won 25-22. They won the next one 28-26, and then one set 4 27-25. It was a battle of the Titans. Both teams were really good. But what was interesting, Richie, they were both good at different things, and they both kind of dominated their own part of the game. Lakeview has 2 dominant middles in Tara Lytle and Reagan Price, and they just were dominating Girard through the middle. But then Girard, you've seen them, they have the 2 outsides in Brie Littell and Lauren Pallone. So they were just going to the pin outside, and they were dominating from the outs. So it was just funny to watch both the teams really not being able to handle what the other team's strength is. But it just what came out on top was Lakeview's middle dominance.
And what impresses me about Girard too is that they got Littell who can pick up some of the slack when Pallone's not killing it. Like
Right.
in match number 1 of the season when they traveled to Canfield, Pallone, they were playing her well. They double block obviously every opportunity. They were playing the cross court attack really well in the back row with Wilkins along with Cleveley, who were digging everything out. But then Littell comes in from the back row, hit from that 10-foot line, and was getting the majority of the kills in the first 2 sets until they started to get into that rhythm. So they have a 2-headed monster there, Girard, and that could be deadly because one of them might be having an off night, or they might be having their scouting report on one hitter, and then the next hitter is going to step up, and they're going to get 7-8 kills per set. So, for Girard, it's very lethal, their offense, and they've got 2 really good setters. They got a younger libero and a sophomore who's obviously the head coach's daughter, but they're still a good squad.
Who was a part of the 6-2 center rotation last year. So they moved her from back row setter and to a libero this year to replace I'm gonna get it because her brother was a really good football player. I'll get it eventually. It'll come to me. The last name right now is gone, but it'll come to me. We have Drew DeShields popping on, and this is going to start a whirlwind of guests on Running Point, but we're going to pop him up. Drew, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and be on Running Point.
Anytime.
Drew, my first question for you. Week 1 against Campfield, coming into the season, guys a little bit younger. A lot of people kind of doubted you coming into this year, but it's a 1-possession game at the end. You had a chance to win it, but just fell a little bit short. For you and your team, how big was that to know that, hey, we could hang with some of the bigger dogs in this valley and come up and compete with the best teams in this Mahoning Valley?
I felt like it gave us a lot of confidence. We had a chance to win the game, and I mean, we're really young. We just special teams was a big part of that killed us. And I felt like we just came in the next week and worked on our special teams more and knew that we could hang with one of the better teams in the area.
Drew, obviously with a team that has expectations like you guys do, there are no moral victories. We know that you wanted to win that game, and it was disappointment that you didn't. That being said, what did this program take away from that game? What kind of momentum were they still able to kind of gather from it, knowing, like Richie said, that you did really go toe-to-toe with one of the area's best?
I felt like that was a great experience for our young guys because that's like a playoff atmosphere, a playoff game. That's what it felt like because a lot of those young guys didn't play in those games last year. Like we have 3 new receivers this year. Mike played defense, but he didn't play offense. Joey Jackson, Perry didn't play in those games. They were watching. They weren't in it. It was just a huge experience with playoff atmosphere when that stuff comes around.
Drew, since you were a kid, you've been watching this West Branch program, of course, with your brother and TJ, who's a star quarterback back in the day for the Warriors. Talk about what you kind of learned from him and what you implement on Friday nights due to him.
I really admire him. When he was at West Branch, I was always on the sideline as a water boy. Always wanted to give him the water, and he helps me a lot with like he's really smart. He's a student of the game. He knows what he's talking about and knows what he's doing. So I feel like that's a big thing that he helps me with.
You said it earlier. There are a lot of new receivers on this team that are in new positions. You've had to kind of build your relationship with them and build chemistry with them in the offseason. What's that been like as a quarterback who last year you came in, you had receivers that kind of knew what the deal was, you knew what was going on. Now you have to kind of build the chemistry up, build the relationship, and kind of build the in syncness with these receivers.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of it was already there from last year. We were all really close. The whole team was really close, and like throughout practice, I threw to those guys a little bit. Joey Jackson was on the freshman team. He wasn't up with us, but I was watching him perform at the freshman level. He's a really good athlete. Perry, same thing. And Mike still got reps at Y last year a little bit. Christian is returning. I threw to him a lot, and I feel like the chemistry is building more and more every day. But I feel like we still got a little bit to go, but I feel like we'll get there.
Yeah, now that chemistry builds because you've been the quarterback since your sophomore season when you filled in for Brock that one game against Carrollton. Going back to that moment in time, how much do you think that's kind of helped you now that you've had 2 years under your belt as a starting quarterback?
I felt like that game helped me a lot. I was a little nervous before the game and everything. And my brother just told me to go out and be you, and I was just me, I feel like, and I felt like that gave me a little experience moving into the next year.
Richie talked about, learning from your brothers. What about learning from Brock your first 2 seasons? I mean, I think a lot of people thought, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the area when he was doing his thing, especially his senior year. And, you kind of were able to step in his shoes. What was it like to be able to have those 2 years with him and learn everything that you did from him as a starting quarterback?
I felt like that was great. He's a really good leader. I feel like I learned some of my leadership skills from him. He knew how to like take over the huddle and everything, and he was really good at that.
Drew, for you, a big commit before your senior season going to Eastern Illinois. Bring us through that process a little bit. Did you get the opportunity to travel to Eastern Illinois and visit their campus, or was all of it kind of remote?
No, I ended up going there last month, the end of July. Yeah, the end of July, I went up there, took a visit, and then committed on spot there.
When you commit on the spot, there had to be something that was like, blowing you away, or something that really tipped that decision into the scales of that place. So what was it that made that decision so easy that you did it on the spot like that?
I feel like the new coaching staff, I really got along with them, and the quarterback tradition at Eastern Illinois is really strong with Tony Romo and Jimmy Garoppolo, and their coaches, Sean Payton and Shanahan. Those guys just jumped out on the page to me with their tradition, and then the coaching staff's just really good. Joe Davis, the offense coordinator, we really connected.
And now you're committed, a lot of weight is kind of lifted off of your shoulders. How much does that help you, knowing that you already have a place to play before you start your senior season? You could kind of go out there and you could be yourself this year, and you don't have to prove anything to anybody.
I felt like that really helped me a lot. Took a little bit of pressure off of it. Now I don't have to worry about finding a place or anything like that, so I can just go out and play and have fun my senior year.
And as we stay on the topic of pressure, coming into last year, I think a lot of people on the outside didn't know what to expect from you. You were taking over the starting role. This year, after the success of last season, everyone's like, "Oh, Drew DeShields, he's our top quarterback spot. He's listed among one of the best quarterbacks in the area." Is there a little bit more pressure to the success, and how have you had to deal with that?
A little bit. I feel like it's not like huge, but I feel like I'm just going out and playing right now. I mean, there's not that much pressure as of right now.
Yeah, you could kind of tell with the way you played in the first 2 weeks against Canfield, scored every point, and then coming out against Woodridge, a big bounce back victory, winning 43-13. So kind of talk about that game last Friday night against Woodridge, and how big that was for your squad to bounce back after that heartbreaking loss at home.
It was good to get a win, but we still got stuff to work on. We started off a little bit slow. I mean, we had a couple of 3-and-outs, which wasn't very good, but ended up getting the victory, and we just need to learn from that for next week.
I think what every fan is dying to know. From last year, we learned about the Shields Family Fantasy Football League, but we
Yeah,
never really got an update on the end of that. So, one, who won last season? Who was the champion of the Shields Family Fantasy League?
it was Kip, my brother.
Mm,
He ended up winning it. He
um,
had Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes because we ran 2 quarterbacks, so he won it. He easily won it. He had Joe Mixon, he had Jamar Chase. His team was stacked. Mike Williams.
are we
No one
doing
was
it
beating
again
him.
this year?
Yeah, we already drafted. My
Who
team's
you
looking
got?
good.
Who's on your fantasy team?
I got Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Jalen Waddle, Allen Robinson, Darren Waller, Trey Lance, and we're looking pretty good right now. We added 2 more people, so it's a little bit thinner.
You
So
got to
we went
feel
from
good.
10 to 12. I know.
Pretty tall.
I had the last pick. Got Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon.
Wow. And with that, with your family tree, they're all in the building at one point during school.
Yeah.
What's that like? I mean, not many kids have their parents in the school building with them. So, I mean, when you're walking through the hallways, you got to be a little more careful of what you're saying and
Yeah.
around those guys.
I feel like it's kind of fun sometimes. I mean, you just get like if you need lunch money, you just go down to your mom and ask for lunch money, you know. But it's not that bad. People think it might be bad, but it's not. It's kind of fun.
How many times have you really had to go and ask for lunch money? Because I feel like that'd be an awkward situation.
No, I just go negative, and then the lunch ladies tell my mom, and then she puts more money on that. That's what happens.
Oh god! So you got to learn from your older brother and TJ who played football, but you know Kip as well, the oldest, played football for the Warriors, and he was more of a standout in the baseball diamond. He played at Youngstown State. What are some things you took away from him as well?
I took away from him. He went junior college farther away, and then came back to YSU. He kind of like he went Division 1, and TJ went Division 1 for a little bit. Those guys have just like stepped me through like what happens in the Division 1 level a little bit. Like that's helped me a lot. I feel like because it's when you get up there, you put in a lot of time.
Coming into your senior year of school, what were some personal goals that you kind of wanted to accomplish before you left West Branch? Not just in football, but in all your athletics and even in your schooling.
I feel like first one is school. I want to get all A's. I mean, I'm at like a 3.9 GPA throughout my high school career right now, so I just want to finish that strong. And then on the court and field, I feel like I want to win the league at least, like all sweep it all the way through.
And
I
now
feel
with
like that's a
I
good
know
one.
you play football at Eastern Illinois, but you also got to study. What are you planning to study at Eastern Illinois?
I don't know yet. Maybe like a business or something like that, or sports management. I want to be a GA when I graduate. Probably. I want to
Nice.
get into college coaching.
Nice.
We have some love from Kuliana's family saying, great job. And in the comments,
you.
you got a lot of fans.
Thank
What's
you.
it like getting all the support from the West Branch community and I think football fans around the area, even if they're outside of the West Branch community, got to be showing you love.
It's great. I feel like just seeing that is like a great thing. I mean, first I was walking after Woodridge. I was walking out, and some little kid gave me his cowbell and had me sign it. I feel like that was really humbling. I was like wow, like people look up to me like that. I was like,
Get
okay,
used to it, man. I think you're going to be signing a lot of autographs
Yeah.
in your career.
hopefully.
You talk about sweeping the league and getting through the league and winning it. You got to go through Salem at one point in the final game of the season. It's at home. It's on your turf. One of the biggest rivalries for you. How awesome is that going to be? Walking out of that tunnel for the last time on your home field, taking on the rival in Salem, hopefully to win the division in your conference.
That'll be great. We're not on turf or on grass. It's on our grass.
On your grass.
Yeah, I know, a little weird. We don't have turf yet, but that's gonna be great. It's gonna be senior night, great atmosphere. There might not even be a seat left in the stands, though. Everyone's gonna be standing around. It's gonna be a Saturday. It's gonna be really good, but hopefully not the last time I'll play there. Hopefully we get a playoff home game.
All right, Drew, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us kind of an insight into what you're going on your senior year. We love watching you. We love covering you. Good luck all senior season, and we wish you the best of luck in everything. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Drew DeShields popping in, and we're gonna
take that lower third. I was gonna say.
I'm going. You don't do so with the mouse pad. You don't have. I get used to I feel like when you have an actual mouse, like in the studio, you have a mouse, you can move a lot quicker. And when
Mhm.
you're dragging a little finger pad, it's like I gotta get there, you know.
It's tough. Yeah, it's for sure tough.
But since it is early, but since it might be the only chance that we get to pay some bills, I think we're gonna take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get ready for the start of a wild Canfield volleyball show as we get ready for 3 of the 6 seniors in the first hour of the show. We'll be right back with Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our family's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players' rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable, we are close. You call it hometown, we call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, Anthony Hartwig, Richie Giuliano, and we are getting ready for the slew of Canfield seniors as we start with Abby McElroy one of the senior captains of this Canfield team. Abby, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Abby, you've been the blocking queen of Canfield so far this season. First match I did, I think you had 10 against Girard. Last night against Boardman, I think you had another 10. What contributes to that? What makes you such a good blocker there in the middle?
If I'm being honest, it's not all just me. Like, it's my pins, the outside and right side. It's sometimes Bella Bucciarelli or Caitlin Batcha and Maddie Cleveley. They're the ones who really set up the block for me. So if they didn't set up the block, I would probably have like 4 blocks that game because I think 4 of them were solo. But I'm thanking my pins right now because they're the ones who actually set up the block and set me up for the block.
When we talked to Coach Nesbitt before the season, she singled you out as one of the players that they're really going to be asking a lot from this year and stepping into, a little bit of a bigger role, not just statistically, but leadership-wise. How have you already handled the responsibilities put on your shoulders this year early in the season, and what kind of things have you grown in this year as your senior year, goes on?
Gosh, there's a couple things. My back row especially, I served last year as a middle, but my sophomore year was my first year playing varsity. I played right side. But it was a lot of pressure at first, but then I realized I just needed to have fun because we also have a lot of other girls stepping up, not just seniors, but like the juniors who are on the team. We have a lot of people stepping up and playing their role. And like, honestly, that's all you have to do. You just have to play your role and do what your position is, not try to do everything at once. Like, it's just really just doing what you're supposed to do. That's how it works. That's how we come together as a team.
Abby, you come from a great family. Of course, I know your parents really well, your brother, your grandma who even listens 2 hours away to every single match you were telling me last night. So how much does that support mean to you, having both your parents in the stands and then your grandparents who are always watching?
Yeah, it's actually not just my grandparents. I have my grandma's best friend actually watches me too. We call her Susu. We haven't seen them in a while. I think they're coming up Saturday, actually. My brother watched last night, and my grandma, who lives like 15 minutes from us, she comes to most games. And then my parents, of course, and my sister. I mean, it's honestly great having those people to support me because, honestly, I'd be nothing without them. Like, my mom comes straight from work to my games. Like, she hates missing my games. Like, she missed one. She cried and like said, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, Mom, you're totally fine." Like, she hates missing games, and I love having that support because, like, someone's always there for you no matter what.
How did you fall into volleyball, and how much has your family kind of embraced the sport and tried to learn as much about it as they can? Because I know your dad's a basketball guy, and I'm sure he had to kind of dig into volleyball and try to learn about it to help you throughout your career. So, how did you fall into volleyball, and how much has your family kind of embraced the sport of it?
Like you said, we have been a basketball family. I started in 7th grade. I haven't played club. I just never had time because I was in AAU for basketball. But yeah, I started in 7th grade and 8th grade, and I wasn't very good. But my parents still went to like mostly everything. And then my sister started. She's a freshman this year. She started playing volleyball, so like they kind of had to get involved. And both me and my sister kind of grew a love for the game. Especially this year, I was watching the freshman game yesterday with my dad, and he seems like so interested. He even line judged one game, and I'm like, okay. But like he was talking to me about how like that was so in. He's like, I will be that person to call that ball out. Like, I will be so loud. And I'm like, I've never seen that side of him. I mean, maybe it's just like the competitiveness, athleticness, like in my dad, but I think my whole family has adjusted really well to the game of volleyball because me and my sister, like I said, grew a love for it. So I think they started to grow a love for it too.
That was a great crowd last night. A lot of energy in the building at Canfield, and a big win for you guys, winning in 4 sets. What's it like, first victory on your home floor?
I'm honestly so happy because the first few games were a little rough for us. I mean, I think we finally clicked this game, and it was great. Like, I came home and I was like so happy. I had so much energy in me even after the game, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I should be like dead tired right now because we just played like the game like such a good game, and I still have so much energy. I texted Parker Wilkins, our libero. I'm like, hey, do you want to go to Sheets and like go get a milkshake or something? And I'm like jumping around. Like I drove to her house, picked her up, and went to Sheets, and I'm like all happy and stuff. Like winning does that to our team. It's not just me, but like I could tell everyone had that like glow in their eyes after we just won. It was a great win for us.
Me and Richie were talking about it at the top of the show. This schedule you guys have put together is tough. It's a tough schedule, not just in the league, but outside of the league. You're playing some of the top volleyball teams in the area. How have you guys, internally in practice and after games, kind of kept the confidence level high and realized that, like, guys, we're playing high level volleyball every night. We might not win every game, but we have to stay confident.
Yeah, confidence is honestly really hard. It's mind over matter. It's like I try to fake it till I make it. Even if I'm doing bad, I'm like, okay, like I'm fine. I fake it till I make it, and then eventually, hopefully, I do make it. But like Hoban, I had a completely different personality than at Gerard. That's completely my fault. Like I saw it, and honestly, it's just like staying positive the whole time. Even if you're doing bad, like you have to tell yourself like you'll get the next one, or you have to tell your teammates like you'll get the next one, don't worry. Like it's picking people up, being positive, and never letting your head drop, because once your head drops, other people's head drops, and now it's just everyone's head is down. So it's honestly about just keeping your head up and staying positive and staying confident.
Your younger sister and Cece, who's kind of following in your footsteps now. She's a freshman. She's going to play volleyball and basketball. And what are some of the things you've tried to teach her and be a role model for her?
This is actually really funny because she came to our first like basketball open gyms and stuff, and Coach Real, our basketball coach, just at the end of practice, he's like, I pray to the Lord that the McElroy sisters haven't fought yet. And I'm like, hope, don't worry, it'll come. But when I get home, like, or sometimes in the car, because I have to drive her home, obviously, I try to help her out with a lot of stuff. I don't really have time. I watch her games like when it's a triple header, freshman, JV, varsity, and I usually help her out with that stuff. But like sometimes I can't really watch, but I help her out with her approach or swing. Sometimes she hits like this, so I tell her open her hand. Even in basketball, like I still try and help her out because like I'm a senior, I have that experience, and she's a freshman, so she has room to learn, so I can help her out. Even like once I go to college, hopefully I'll still get to watch her games and stuff, and I'll still help her out. So
What's the biggest thing you guys fight over? Since you said it's coming, it's coming. What's going to be that thing that drives a little bit of head knocking?
Sometimes she's upset after the game. I try to tell her something, and she just gives me an attitude. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to help. And then we also share a room, so that kind of bunks our heads a little bit. But ever since Zane moved out to go to Mount, she's been staying in his room. But it used to be the remote for the TV we used to fight about, and then just small stupid stuff. But I'm pretty close with her, so it's okay.
What's the house like now? Zane was like a wild man. I mean, he used to hang out with Josh, and he was wild. I mean, is it a lot calmer now? Can you sleep at night?
Yeah, because I don't have to listen to rap music all night long. He just playing his Xbox, and music is just going at 2 a.m. I think he might have fallen asleep, but he still has his music going. It's actually a lot more peaceful, but I do miss him sometimes because, he's my big brother, and now I'm the, older child of the house now because he's gone. Not gone. He's only 45 minutes away, but, I still miss him. As much as we used to fight too, I still miss him a lot.
Were there any house responsibilities that now you have that he used to have?
Oh, yeah. So we have chores. My chore was the bathroom. My sister, we got these chores when we were younger, and we knew Zane wouldn't do a lot. So we gave him the trash. I had to do the bathroom, and Cece had to sweep the house. And that's like the easiest job. And I'm here scrubbing the bathroom, and it takes me like 15, 20 minutes to clean it. And Cece's done in 5. Zane's done in 2. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to pick up the trash. And now it's kind of just like our rooms and cleaning around the house. So,
Abby, you're very fortunate to play 2 sports at Canfield. When you're done with the volleyball season, you go right into things with basketball. How much does that kind of overlap? Are you missing any practice in between times at basketball?
Yeah. I think last year I only missed a week or so, not even. Sometimes I'm supposed to take a week off in between, but I can't. I'm so eager to go into basketball. It honestly just depends how far we go in tournament for volleyball, but I mean, I'm really not worried because I try to shoot at least once every week, like still get in the groove of things. But yeah, I go straight into it, and I mean, it's pretty sad because this will be my last volleyball year, and then last basketball year in high school. So it's going to be rough, but I love transitioning because I never have a break, and after all these sports are over, I feel like I'm doing absolutely nothing. So
Senior night's going to be here before you know it. What are going to be some of the things that you reflect on during that night as your favorite memories with the program and things that you've kind of learned throughout Canfield volleyball?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I will definitely say the trip to Cedar Point and Kalahari. I think that really brought our team together. It was amazing. Like, we had team bonding. It was probably 10 o'clock, and we were all dead tired because we just played, I think, 5 or 6 games. And then we went to Cedar Point, or no, we went to Kalahari, and then we were up in our little cabin thing, and we were all just team bonding and talking about all of our secrets and stuff. And we were all so tired. We didn't want to be there, but we knew we had to. And I learned a lot about a lot of the girls that I didn't know before, and it was great just getting to know them better. And then the next day we went to Cedar Point. We got to ride a ride together, and then everyone kind of split off into groups. But I mean, probably that. Riley Kincaid is my setter, and we run these little like fast across the net runs, and it was last night actually. It was a little bit too high, and I went to hit it, and I hit my nail. And these are press-ons, and I was so upset because I wear them all the time, and it popped off in the middle of the game, and everyone in the stands thought it was my gum. And so there's a lot of memories throughout this season already that I can definitely reflect on. But it's definitely my teammates. Like, I love them. They all, and my coach, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Coach Krista, Coach Rolla, Coach Amanda. I mean, there's so many people that I could just thank, and my senior night's a little long.
Well, I've always been amazed how you girls are able to keep nails during volleyball season. So I feel like it's got to be a task.
Yeah, these aren't like actually done.
Right.
These are, yeah. So,
But still, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
And for you, of course, I think everybody could tell you bring a lot of energy to the team. I mean, we were talking last night during the JV game. You were looking to play like Thunderstruck and all these like hype songs to get ready for the match. I mean, talk about that, what you bring to the table every single night, and you're kind of like the spark in the middle there.
Yeah. Well, our athletic director was supposed to be playing music, and he didn't stop the music. So then I just stood there because Coach Chris had to be on the bench. So I'm standing there looking for what song to play next. I don't know why. I've never actually done DJ before. It was actually so exciting. But I was also excited to play Boardman because they're not a bad team. They're very similar to us, but I was hoping that was going to be our turning point. I was excited, and like I know like it's not just me who actually brings the energy, but we have Riley, Parker, all of them. Like, they bring so much energy to the court. Bella Bucciarelli, like, we're all on a very energetic team. Like, we always have so much fun together, and I don't even know, like, it's just like a spark between all of us. Like, it's like I don't know if you remember Grace Roscoe. It's like a Grace Roscoe team right now. So
we definitely remember Roscoe. Before we let you go, you're a senior, so you're going to be moving on into the next chapter of life. What are some of your future plans, and where do you want to see yourself in the next 4 or 5 years?
I'm looking into colleges right now. I'm hoping to play basketball. I'll probably end up going to Mount Union, like Zane's there right now, and play basketball. My mom works there, so that's a plus. Like, me and my mom have grown closer over the years. Like, I remember when I was little, I'm like, I'm not going to Mount Union. Like, I'm too close to my mom. But then throughout high school, like, I started to grow so much closer with her. And now, like, I do not want to be super far away from her because she knows everything about me. Like, I tell her everything, every good thing, every bad thing. Like, she knows. So, but I'm hoping to play basketball. Hopefully at Mount Union, but I don't really know where else it'll go. So, but we'll see.
What kind of things do you want to study? Like, what career do you want to kind of go into? Do you even know yet?
I have an idea. It was first architecture, and then engineering, and Mount Union has a great engineering program. Kent State has a great architecture program. And then I was also thinking interior design. So all that kind of stuff. I haven't really been set on one yet, but I'm keeping those in mind.
That's awesome. architecture.
Thank you. So, are you going to ask one more question, Rich?
Yeah, I was going to say,
All right, you got one more. Okay, we're good.
very difficult, and so is engineering.
Yeah.
I mean, mentally, how are you preparing for that?
I took physics. Okay, senior year, usually you have like blow off classes, not blow off classes, but easier classes. I tried getting into physics, and then I'm also in pre-calc and trig. But I've always loved math. I don't know if it's just because I was like not in advanced classes or something, and it just came easy to me. But I've honestly always loved math, and so that's kind of what sparked me a little bit.
All right, Abby, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Good luck in your senior season in volleyball and basketball. We love covering you. We'll continue covering you throughout the year, and we wish you the best of luck. And thank you so much again for joining us. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Abby McElroy from Canfield, and look at this right after. It's just going to pop right into Riley Kincaid, her setter, who got some love in that interview. We'll pop her in, and we'll make her the superstar of the show because she gets the big box. Riley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Riley, I'm going to start off with this. I know your family very well, obviously, right across the street right now. So talk about your family and how much they mean to you, your mom, your dad, at every single match throughout the season. How much do they mean to you?
They mean the most to me. My dad shows up to almost every single one of my games, and he shows up to even like the JV and the freshmen. He's one of like the biggest supporters, I think, of our team. And same with my mom. She loves to show up and she loves to support. And my sister too, she played volleyball, so she was always there for me, and then she helped me throughout the season to like where I am today. So I can't thank them enough.
Your coach has let us know that you are 53 assists away from 1,000 in your career, which is getting ever so close. And we know, it's going to happen. You're going to get it. What is that going to mean to you when it happens? And how much have you kind of worked for this goal?
It's going to mean a lot to me because as a setter, it's kind of hard to like show like you don't usually get like the points. You don't score the points. Like normally it's the hitters or like the serves. So I think it's a really big deal. And I couldn't have done it without like my team because, in order to set and get an assist, you need like a good pass and a good kill and like a good hitter. So I think I really couldn't have done it without them.
Not only are you a great setter, but you're a great server as well. You're the first one to serve for your team, usually the last to try and win the match. What do you do throughout the week to prepare for that? And, what mentally do you do when you stand on that back line when you're serving?
I think when I serve, I just have to I know to get it over and in. I just have to breathe and just know that this point matters. And at practice, I just try and we do drills where we serve as hard as we can and stuff like that. So I think just being back there on the line, you just have to breathe and know you can do it, and you just have to do it for your team.
People outside the program this year were probably all talking about how you lost Abby Householder and you're going to have to, replace over 500 kills, but you kept the setter. So in the off season, in the summer, in the preseason, how much did you really try to instill confidence in your other hitters to know, to put confidence in them and to let them be able to know that they can step into a bigger role?
I think I just told them they can do it. Even though we lost someone who was a big part of our team, we can still fill that position. And we have Abby McElroy, who really stepped up this year, and she's doing really good with the kills in the middle. And we just practiced a lot during the preseason and just to get comfortable with each other because I'm setting some new people. And we have a new outside hitter, Maddie Cleveley. So I think just during the preseason, it was a big thing to just practice a lot so that we could get comfortable with each other.
Abby talked about you a lot throughout her interview and how you set her up for those 10 kills that she had the other night. And you kind of talked about it a little bit, but you've got a lot of seniors on this team this year, along with juniors. So how much does that help knowing that you've played with a lot of these players for the last 4 or 5 years?
It really helps because it makes us a lot more comfortable with each other, I think. We know each other well. I mean, we've been playing together since 7th grade, and some of us even before that during club. So I think it just instills confidence with us that we know each other, we know our roles, and we can trust each other.
With 6 seniors, I imagine that all 6 of you bring a little bit of a different aspect of leadership to the table, and you all lead in kind of different ways. Well, how would you describe your leadership qualities and things that you bring to the leadership role this year?
I think I just really try to boost the confidence of the team. I let them know you made a mistake. It's okay. We all make mistakes. We can just move past that. And I try to like lift everybody up and try to include everybody so that they know like they're on this team for a reason and they just need to show it.
You talked about your sister Sydney coming through this program, and growing up, and when you were playing in middle school, you're also able to attend some of the high school matches. What are some things that you learned from her and maybe her teammates that you've kind of implemented into your style?
I think one of the biggest things I learned from them is just being like a team player. When I was a freshman, my sister was a senior, and they also had, I think, like close to 9 seniors. So it was like very similar to what we're doing now. And I think I just realized like we're all there. We have to be there for each other, especially with my sister. She got some playing time and didn't get some playing time, but she really showed me that like you just have to be there for your teammates, and that will just like make the season so much better.
I know Coach Nesbitt has been with the program, but new head coach this season is she takes over the varsity role. And every time there's a new head coach, the one thing is that seniors have to buy in. So how easy was it for this group to buy into what Coach Nesbitt wanted to shape this program into? And what has it been like to be under her this season so far?
I think it was really easy for us to like buy into her because she was the JV coach. So we already knew her and we already knew kind of her coaching styles. And I think having her as a head coach this year is something that we really needed. In like the past couple of years, it was kind of more about like winning. And obviously we still want to win this year, but Coach Nesbitt really shows us that it's good to have fun and like we need to be more of a team player and like it's a team sport that like we have to win together and just be there for each other. She really shows us that like volleyball is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a fun sport, and it's like our last year, and she just wants us to enjoy it.
Well, your team had a lot of fun last night in a 4-set victory over Boardman, and you're one of the players that had the volleyball there at the end and tried to win it in that final 4th set. What's that feeling when you step back behind the back line, you got the volleyball, fans are going crazy, and you're ready to serve it over and try and win?
I would say it's really stressful because you have everybody, all their eyes are on you. They're watching you. But I just think like you have to like breathe and know that like you're there on the back line for a reason. Like your coach put you in there for a reason and that you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself and just get it over and in.
Earlier, Abby talked about the mood after winning and how much it kind of affects the whole team and how happy they were after the win. What was your, post-game meal or post-game, dessert, or how do you treat yourself after a win?
Well, I usually treat myself with dinner because we get home super late, so I can't eat before. So last night I had pierogies and fruit.
The Amy special over there in the preserve. I like it. But, going back to your team a little bit and, how experienced your team is this year, Abby kind of talked about some of the trips you guys got to make going over to Sandusky and going up to Cedar Point and Kalahari. How fun were those trips for you and getting to know your teammates a little bit better?
They were a lot of fun. It was something that we haven't done in the past, and I think it really helped us just kind of be there for the volleyball aspect, but also for the team aspect. We really got to spend like 2 full days together, and it was like a 2-hour bus ride. So we really got to know each other on like a deeper level and just see each other outside of the volleyball court. So I think that really helped us like bond more on the volleyball court because we knew each other so much better.
In that trip, who was one teammate that you got to know a lot that you didn't know before the trip, or you didn't know too well before the trip?
One of the people I got to know a lot was Brinkley Bear. She's a sophomore this year, and she actually got to play some varsity last night. She actually stayed in the same room as me, and I got to talk to her a lot. So it was really fun because she's friends with one of my close friends, but I never really got to talk to her as much. But I really got to know her, and it was a lot of fun.
When there's a sophomore in your rooming with, and I guarantee there's some conversations, she's asking you some questions about what it's like playing at the varsity level. What are some of the advices that you kind of give to Brinkley throughout that time that you guys spent together at Kalahari?
I just told her she just really needs to work. If she wants it, she has to try and go get it. It goes for everybody. You have to be a team player. If you're not, the end goal is to be on varsity, and you're not always going to be on varsity. So you just need to practice and play like you want to be on it, and you need to be a team player. I think that's one of the biggest things. Coach Krista, obviously she wants like one of the best players out there, but she also wants someone that's going to be there for the team and keep the energy up, because when we get down, our energy gets down, and that's when we kind of like stop playing well together, she wants someone who's going to cheer on the team and do all that kind of stuff. So I think my biggest advice is just to be there and always cheer on your teammates.
Now, as a senior, you're in the position to give that advice. But when you were younger and you were growing up in the program, who were some upperclassmen that gave you advice and took you under your wing and showed you how to be a leader?
Some of the upperclassmen was my sister, Sydney, and then also one of her two best friends, Grace Mangapora and Alexis Matilde. They just showed me that, like, I can do it, and they really told me, like, you just have to work hard, and working hard really pays off, especially in practice. You have to practice how you want to play in the game and just show the coaches that you want to be there, so then they will put you in.
You talk about your sister being a role model, looking out the window and seeing you and Cindy always hitting the volleyball back and forth in the driveway. How much do you kind of miss that now that she's gone at Ohio State? And how much did she help you now that you're a senior and you could kind of handle the varsity experience yourself?
I miss her a lot because I kind of took for granted what I had when I was a freshman and she was a senior. I didn't get to play with her as much because I was on JV and she was on varsity, but I really think she just helped me show, like, I can do this, and she really just, like, gave me the good advice, like, you just got to work hard, you got to work for it. And she really helped me, like, in the driveway, like you said. She would, when I asked her, can we go out and play, she would drop everything and she would do that for me, and I really appreciate what she did.
When you look back on this career that you've put together in Canfield volleyball, what are going to be some of your favorite memories that you've put together with this program?
Some of my favorite memories, one was probably this summer when we went to Cedar Point and Kalahari. I think it was just a new level of, like, getting to know each other. And then also I really enjoyed, like, playing with Parker Wilkins and Abby McElroy. We've been together since, like, our freshman year. We were on JV together, and we just really became close because of that. And I think we just really like playing with each other. So those people are who I really enjoy playing with.
Your sister went to Ohio State. What are your future plans for college? Where do you want to go? What are some of the colleges you're looking at, and what do you want to study?
I think I want to study and become an architect, but I'm not 100% sure because I really like art and stuff like that. But I'm definitely looking at Ohio State, and I really want to go to the University of Kentucky if that works out for me. But I just want to study and pursue something that's with art.
University of Kentucky. Be a Wildcat. So that means that you're probably someone that wants to get out of the house a little bit, not travel way away from home, but far enough that you can have that college atmosphere and be, on your own for a little bit. How much is that kind of important on your decision on where you want to go to college?
I definitely want to go somewhere that's a little bit farther away just because I want to experience, like, life on my own. And I really want to get that college experience just by myself. So, like, I know, like, I can do this on my own. So it's not, like, the main factor of where I want to go, but it's definitely a big one.
Follow up to that, what makes you the most nervous about life on your
own? Probably cooking meals and doing my own laundry because my mom does that for me still, and I really appreciate that. So I need to figure out how to do that before I leave.
My last question for you. Long journey still ahead, just in the early part of the season, but your final year, I mean, when you approach every single match, I mean, is it like the feeling that this is your last match, almost like you don't want to take it for granted?
Yeah, we try and play every match like it's our last because eventually it could be, and we just want to make the most of this year and this season.
Riley, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us some insight into your senior season. We love covering you. We're going to cover you the rest of the year, and we wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Riley Kincaid, one of the seniors and the lead setter of that Canfield volleyball team. She is 53 assists away from 1,000 in her career, which will be a great milestone for someone that has really set up their offense. A lot of people talk about all the kills that Canfield hitters have gotten racked up the last 3 or 4 seasons. Well, those don't happen without a setter, right? So Kincaid can, string her hat to all those kills that have been racked up by Canfield volleyball.
And like I said, I know their family very well because they're right across the street from us. And Quinn, who's on the other side of the cul-de-sac as well. So we got a lot of YSN roots in the preserve here. But, I'm a little bit upset I'm not going to be able to cover probably the final match where she does get 1,000 assists because most likely it's going to be this upcoming weekend. And
right.
We got the trip to Chicago. But overall, really excited for her and what she's going to do over the weekend.
Might be Saturday against McDonald. A home game against McDonald. It very well could be that game where she gets 1,000. Now we'll bring the next senior on from Canfield, and it's going to be Maddie Cleveley. And Maddie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Maddie, I want to open it up with this. Your sister, who got to play Division I college volleyball, and you were there all the time watching her matches. What are some of the things that you took away from not just your sister and Morgan, but also their team as well, that you kind of implement into your game as well?
Yeah, like you said, I was there like most of the games. I went away and home. I loved watching her. I took the communication because they talk a lot. They hit the spots. Yeah.
How much were you inquisitive about, her experience? How much did you ask her about what it took to get there, what the work ethic was like there? How much did you kind of learn from her about the experience of playing in college?
Yeah, we talked all the time. Like I went to her, we talk. She told me about like their team chemistry they used to have, how they play together, and we used to like pep her, and she'd give me tips like all the time. Yeah.
You're playing a different role this season for this team, with Householder kind of departing. You're now on the outside, getting a lot of swings for Canfield. Kind of talk about the transition from being a more defensive specialist player to now an outside hitter.
It was definitely a change for me. I hit outside for my JV when I played JV my sophomore year. And I really like playing all the way around. It makes me more involved on the court, and I can always be a part of like each play and help my teammates out.
What kind of things went through your mind when you were told, hey, you're going to step into this new role, you're going to be an outside hitter now? And it was kind of like your moment to shine. What was that moment like, and what kind of things went through your head?
I was definitely nervous because it's obviously a big role. But I was also super excited to try out new things and help my teammates out to win.
You also play really well defensively, though. I mean, behind your libero, you're one of the best diggers on the team. So, being an all-around player, how much does that help you out when you try and send some tapes to college if you kind of want to advance your career?
It actually helps a lot. Defense is my favorite thing to do. I love it. I love being in the back row with Parker. Me and Parker have been playing since 7th grade. But, yeah.
Like you said, you were outside for your JV team. So was defense always your favorite part of the game, or did you grow to love it when you had to take, the varsity defensive specialist position?
Defense obviously have always been my favorite, but I've also learned to grow hitting too. I love being like up there and just thinking like, I know I'm not the tallest, but like getting a kill is like the best feeling.
Now for
I'm going to have a follow-up because you just said getting a kill is the best feeling. So I got to ask, is it better than getting a big dig? Which one makes you happier? Like a big dig on a big hit, or going up and getting that big kill?
That's a hard question, but probably getting a kill, because it's like your teammates like all celebrate together as a team. Like as a defensive, like most, like you still get like a lot of like credit, but like, I don't know, like hitting's like the last like play.
Not only have you been really good at digging and hitting this year, but you've also been a great server for the team. Talk about what you do during practice to kind of prepare for every single match when you're behind the back line.
At practice, we do a lot of serve like games, and to see how hard you can hit the ball and accurate in the right spots, good spots. You kind of just have to get out there, breathe, and I have a routine that I do between every serve, and it actually helps a lot.
We have a long volleyball career that you've had. What has been the hardest part of volleyball to grasp, and what do you think is the skill set that took you the longest to kind of excel at or get a hold of?
Defense is very like hard because you have to read the hitter, you have to read their shoulders, you have to read their blocks if there's a hole in the block. You have to read like where the hitters usually hit, and like just adjust to it.
Talk about playing with Parker since you guys are kids, but this is a very experienced group for Canfield. You guys have all been playing together for the last 4 years. What makes this group kind of special, and What memories have you taken away from the senior class?
Like you said, we've all been playing together since like very young, so it helps because we have so much chemistry on the court and off the court, so it brings us together as a team, and I think that's what helped us out.
I always have to ask people that are really good at defenses because those balls are going to hit really hard at you. So, like when you were first exposed to really good hitters, was it ever kind of a fear of getting the ball hit so hard at you, or did you just kind of naturally instincts take over?
No, it was definitely scary at first because you have to just go for it, and whatever happens, happens. You get hit in the head sometimes, you just shake it off and move forward. But really, just have to read the shoulders and where they usually hit the ball and hope for the best.
Talk about reading the shoulders, but do you guys watch any film before the matches, knowing like their tendencies? For example, you guys defended Pallone really well against Girard in the first 2 sets, and especially you and Parker in the back row were able to dig out a lot of her attacks. So just talk about that. Were you kind of prepared coming into that match?
Yeah, we watched film before the game. It helped a lot to see where they hit the ball usually. Like Lauren usually hit the ball like line, so Parker moved line and our blocks like blocked cross. So it helped out our defense a lot to watch where like the hitters usually hit.
And you said before that you like working with Parker in the back row. You love being back there. What's that duo like? What's that dynamic like when you two are in the back row? And how much do you really work together to make this whole team really good defensively?
Me and Parker are very good in the back row. We work together very, very well. She's my pepper partner, so we have a lot of like chemistry together. Yeah.
This is a big week coming up. I mean, you guys have a lot of matches in a short amount of days. I mean, you started off with 3 in a row, take on a team that's undefeated tonight in Mineral Ridge. How big do you think this week stretches for your team, knowing that you could get back into the win column and get over 500?
I'm super excited for the game tonight and play McDonald's Saturday and East. But I think we need to keep our heads up and keep moving forward and keep working as a team to just keep winning those games. And if we don't, then just stay as a team and keep moving forward.
I'm sure in a career as long as yours, you've had at least one form of adversity that you've had to face, whether it be a confidence issue, an injury, whatever it may be. What has been your biggest, form of adversity, and how did you get past it?
I would say last year when I didn't play, I was very upset about me not playing. I missed the team. I missed the bond that we used to have. So I just like kept watching their film like last year, and that's what made me come back this year because I'm.
Now that you're getting the starting role pretty much as the outside hitter and defensive specialist, talk about what it's like for you going out there every single night competing as hard as you can and how you don't take that moment for granted, knowing that last year you didn't get to play.
Every game and every point, you just have to go out there and give it your all. You have to play like it's your last game ever because it goes by super fast. And I just can't play on the season now. And my last game is coming up this year.
What makes you the proudest to represent Canfield and wear those colors and to represent that school system?
I don't know. Just being like the greatest player I can on the court and off the court, being there for my teammates, and just being like excited for everyone.
When you decide you want to come back, Krista, who took over her first year, how much of an influence did she have on you coming back to start?
Krista was my JV coach. I absolutely adored her. She's my favorite coach I've ever had. She tells us that volleyball is a team sport and everyone needs to be involved on and off the court. And that's what really helped us like move forward.
When you look at senior nights that come up, what emotions do you think are going to go through your head? And I know you've been able to plan a couple of senior nights and be involved in senior nights in your career. Now you get to be the one that gets senior nights planned. So what's going to be like having the underclassmen teammates kind of give you gifts and give you the respect of being there for 4 years? And what do you think that's going to be like?
There's going to be a lot of emotions. I'm going to be very upset, but also very excited to move forward with my life and see what comes in the future. But it'll be very sad to see like everyone go and just move forward.
Do you have any plans for the future yet? You know where you want to go and what colleges maybe you're looking at and what you want to study, or you kind of undecided right now?
What kind of things are you passionate about? Like when you're studying them, or when you're learning about them, or even if it's things that you do as a hobby outside of volleyball. What kind of things give you that passion?
My friends give me a lot of passion, and I love being in school and seeing everyone like every day. And
I don't want to put you on the hot seat here, but who's one of your favorite teachers? And, maybe what are some of the things you like to study while you're in class?
I like math, but my favorite teacher is probably Mrs. Palmer from the middle school. We've always had like a connection, and we still talk, and she's just always been there for me.
What about your best friend in volleyball that doesn't wear the Canfield uniform?
Wait, can you say that again?
Like who's one player that doesn't play for you guys, doesn't play for Canfield, that you watch or and you would like to play with if you ever got the opportunity?
Yeah. I used to play with Lauren Palone from Girard, and I really enjoyed it. She's a very team player, and I really enjoyed hanging out with her.
So that makes sense now that you defended her so well.
I know. It's like, whoa.
There you go. Everything's clicking now. When you watch a player like that, offensively, now that you're more offensive minded on the outside, how much does that help you? What do you kind of take away from her? Because she's one of the best killers in the entire Valley.
Yeah, she's very good. You just have to read like we knew like where it, so we adjusted to it, and like you said, like me and Parker picked those balls up, and Alana, and we just moved forward, and yeah.
Maddie, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us insight into your senior season. We wish you the best of luck. We look forward to covering you throughout the year, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Maddie Cleveley, one of the 6 seniors joining us today on Running Point. We got 3 more in the second half of the show, but first we have Brian Tolnar of Mill Creek Golf coming up. Before we get to that, let's take the time we have to take one more break and get some bills paid before Tolnar comes on at 1:00. So this is Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSwealth.com. Good luck, athletes!
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point. Oh, we're big.
Wow.
Let's
We want to see that.
We got to make sure we have the Greenwood logos up there. They're they are our presenting sponsor. We thank Greenwood for being an amazing sponsor, Running Point, believing in this show and signing on for another year of it. And one of the other people that always believe in this show and believe in YSN is Brian Tolnar of Mill Creek Golf Course and Mill Creek Metro Parks. Brian, I like that. We had the Chris Collinsworth kind of slide in. It's good. Brian, thank you again for joining us this week like you do every week. It's great to hear from you.
Thanks. Great having me on. I really enjoy the segment and what you guys do at YSN. It's been a lot of fun with the golf tip series and the promotion of the Metro Parks as a whole. It's been a great partnership. And, like I've shared before, I've watched so many games on Friday nights and enjoyed, the audible on Friday evening, flipping through the games and, watching my alma mater Hubbard play and Preston getting to watch Canfield and to be able to bounce around. You guys do a phenomenal job. So it's great to be part and a partner with a organization that does things in a first-class manner.
All right, we're in the middle of the week. We got some events coming up this weekend at the Metro Parks. Kind of detail what's coming up for the Valley.
Well, we've got a lot of action this weekend. We have a couple golf outings here at the main golf course. We have YSU's got their kickoff classic, so they have a number of teams in town. It's a one-day tournament 2 weeks prior to their Roseanne Schwartz Invitational that they host here. That's a multi-day event at the main course. We just finished up the Community Cup golf outing for the YMCA at the par 3 course this year. In addition to that, we've got a couple races coming up as well. We've got our Green Cathedral that our rec department runs. If you're interested in participating in that this year, we ask those to go to our website and register for that event. It's a great marathon that we host. Just finished up the Panerathon, but we've got a couple more races left on the docket, the Youngstown Marathon, the Community Cup, the marathon portion, as well as the YUTC race. So a lot of action as we close out the year. We just finished up youth and adult deck hockey. So it's nice to share that sport and then start off with our archery camps here this week coming up. And we run those through the fall, and we've got some cornhole stuff coming. We got a kickball tournament coming as well. So a lot of great action up at the WIC Recreation area. And we're making big time progress on our building up there as well. We're converting that old warming house into a recreation health and wellness center. So had the opportunity to sit down with our planning staff and go through it and do a tour this past Monday. So it was neat to see the progress that they've made on that building and putting a new roof on it as we speak. And then we've got some drywalling and plumbing to be finished up over the next couple of weeks with the hopes of having that open around November 1st. So if we can do that, we'll start up with some dance classes, some yoga classes, indoor cornhole leagues throughout the course of the winter. But just a great time to be at the Metro Parks, whether you're playing golf or you're just exploring on the trails. A lot of good things happening here.
I want to highlight as high school golf continues. I want to highlight one of the programs that I've been kind of not surprised, but I guess you could say different than expectations. I know Boardman girls, they lost a lot of key pieces last year. A lot of seniors that were leading that team, graduated, new captains this year, but they beat Archbishop Hoban last night. And anytime you beat Hoban in anything, I think that's an eye popper. And their new captains in Zoe Fix and Sophia Rivera have really led this team and really impressive start for that Boardman girls golf team.
They certainly have. And I got to see the tail end of that match last evening. Preston was out practicing. So, talking to some of the parents, Boardman girls have not lost a match all year, so they are undefeated. And anytime that you can bring in Akron Hoban and beat them and beat them handily like they've done, they're getting a lot of contributions from everybody in that lineup. I mean, their depth of their lineup as well. I know they had 2 or 3 groups of what they call JVs. I know traditionally they don't have a JV program, but they have a bunch of JV players that didn't make it into that starting lineup that are out playing behind the end of that match as well. So, I mean, talk about depth and, the hard work that they've been putting in over the course of the summer. I've seen them out here all summer long playing and practicing. So it's nice to see the fruits of their labor paying off into a bunch of wins throughout the course of the season in a sport that's down a little bit. And when we talk about the girls side, I mean, Cardinal Mooney does not have a girls golf team. I believe they have 2 girls participating on the boys team. And just across the valley, numbers seem to be down when it comes to girls golf. But, there's certainly a lot of great golf from the female side that's being played right now locally here in the Mahoning Valley.
Brian, when DJ and I visited the one time after we played, you showed us the update on the bunker that you're building above the pro shop there. What's the progress kind of been like with that, and what's the expected date for that to kind of open up and reveal to the public?
Well, we've got asbestos remediation kind of going on right now. They came in and did some tests on Wednesday of this past week. Like anything that was built in the 20s, anything really sub 1958, 1960, a lot of it was built with asbestos, and this building's, not immune to that. So they've done some testing. We're waiting for the results for that to come in, and then we'll start with the remediation process and removal of that. And then once that is all cleared out, we'll begin construction. So it's put us behind a little bit, to be honest with you. How far behind, I'm not sure, based on where the numbers and how much is up here that has to be remediated. But as soon as that gets tidied up, probably the end of this week, if not by early next week, we'll have a time frame on getting everything going. Traditionally, we were trying to get it done and start the day after Labor Day. So this is going to be behind a couple weeks here, with hopeful to get December, January 1 start. It's probably looking at spring when it's all said and done, based on some of the stuff that they've uncovered. I'm not sure what the depth of it's going to be, but there were some spots in this building just because of the age of it. But beyond that, we're hopeful that it'll start here very shortly, and we'll probably finish that process in March, April, or May when it's all said and done.
Before the show, you texted me a picture of the new PGA Hope hats. Can we debut those, or do you want to keep them under wraps for now?
You know what? We can. I think I have one laying around over here. Step over. So our PGA Help program, we're in our second year. We tried to bring this to the Metro Parks 3 years ago, but then COVID hit. We started last year. We had 31 of the 36 spots filled. This year we have all 36 and a waiting list of 15. So we have a lot of veterans that are interested. And we've also expanded it from 1 day, which was a 2-hour program, to a 3-day program. And it's going to be, just as good as the last year's, but we'll be able to accommodate more people, and we'll be able to go a little bit more in depth. But part of that was the headwear for this year. So we've got red hats. We did white hats last year. So it's got the PGA Hope logo, which is a flagship program that the PGA of America's put on. We were the second in Northern Ohio, and I believe the third in the state of Ohio that runs one of these programs, sponsored by Mill Creek Golf Course, the Mahoning Valley Hospital Foundation, and then YSN.
Yeah, buddy.
Logo in the prime spot. So when people are up in the stands and they have their hats on, the YSN's looking right at them. So it's a great advertisement for everybody, and it's a great program for any veteran that's interested and available. This year, in addition to the hats, we have dog tags, we have challenge coins, and we also have a belt customized to their military division. So if you are a Marine, you're going to have a belt that has the PGA logo, all the logos of the sponsors, and your military division on there going around the belt. So if you're a Marine, you're an Army, you're Coast Guard, you're Navy, you're Space Force, Air Force, you name it, we have them all covered this year. So it's customized to where you spent your time in the service. And this program is really a way for us as PGA professionals to thank everybody from a veteran's perspective that's volunteered to give us the freedoms that we have. So it's an enjoyable program by our staff here. And it's one that we were excited to start, albeit, last year, and would have been, 3 years ago if COVID didn't to pop in there. But it's something that, the partnerships that we've made, you guys, Mission Barbecue is part of it now. They're going to feed the veterans through the course of the program. Just all the partnerships and relationships and the networking that's created through this program is going to give it more value and make it more special for the veterans that sacrifice so much for us.
You've talked about all the events that are both on the course and off the course this upcoming weekend. Where can everybody go and sign up for these events that are coming up?
Any of the events that we host here, you can go right to our website, millcreekmetroparks.org. Any of the programs from a recreational standpoint, an educational standpoint, or golf. If you're trying to book a tee time, you can find that on Mill Creek's website, millcreekmetroparks.org. Just click on the link for recreation, and it'll give you the whole gamut of every recreational opportunity that we have here, or educational opportunity at the Metro Parks. One of the things that's special about the Metro Parks, beyond just the ability to explore, is all the great educational programs that are done throughout the Metro Parks with the education department, and that is the trolley. You'll see the Bigfoot thing that's going on now throughout the course of the park. There's Bigfoot sightings and all of that. So I got a sneaky suspicion that he's going to show up at the golf course sometime soon. So it's going to be neat. They do wonderful things. They have the trolley. They do a lot of things with Fellows Riverside Gardens and the Ford Nature Center that's going to open here shortly. So we're excited to have that and the almost $4 million of reinvestment that's come back into that part of the education department. So to be able to showcase that and showcase what they've done up there is spectacular. If you had the opportunity to go through, they had a soft opening. It was unbelievably neat. So modern, so up to date. It's going to be special when it's open. And we're a few weeks, if not a few months away from that. So I know they're excited, but so much to do here in the Metro Parks. I'm
just trying to imagine a golfer getting ready to tee off, and then a Sasquatch, Bigfoot creature starts lurking out of the trees.
They've got some neat stuff going. They're doing this thing around Halloween with like the haunted mill this year, which I think is pretty neat. They're going to have some paranormal folks in there doing some things where you go in there with lanterns at night, kind of how it was, back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I think they've got some very cutting edge things amongst the video series that they have. So, I mean, from a technology standpoint, they've really elevated their game, but they're also bringing some unique programs to the Metro Parks.
All right, so before we let you go, I do want to ask you about the article that you shared on Facebook today, and it's the 14-year-old Gianna Clemente, who is now qualified for her second straight LPGA event at 14 years old. Just put into words how incredible that is to do that at that age, at that level.
Well, anytime that you do it before the age of 18 makes it extremely special. Obviously her dad and I played high school golf together, so I've got a little bit of a connection with them. And, Gianna's played golf out here several times. She's an unbelievable player. She works really hard at her game, not only at the golf aspect of it, her diet. She's never ate a piece of pizza.
What?
Can you imagine that? Not eating pizza? I told that to Preston. Like, I eat that like once a week. I'm like, but she's very conscientious on exercise and fitness. She's up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. She's homeschooled. She's a 4.0 student. Loves the game of golf. Practices and plays. She's qualified for the U.S. Open, the U.S. Amateur, the Junior Amateur, which she lost in the finals on the last couple holes. Kind of got hosed on she hit a flag on one of the holes, and instead of being there a foot from the hole, she ended up almost knocking it in a hazard, and obviously ended up losing that hole. So, I mean, she's had a couple tough breaks along the way, but to be able to, I think she qualified for the U.S. Open at age 11. So, I mean, to be able to do that is unbelievably impressive. She hits it long and straight, and she's one of the best putters that I've ever seen at any level. And that's male, PGA professional, Korn Ferry Tour professional, local professionals. Best putting stroke I've ever seen on anybody. The tempo, the timing, the pace is just, it's almost unreal. It's almost robotic how perfect it is. And her short game's exemplary. So, I mean, to be able to do what she's doing, and now the second week in a row, as she qualified for the Canadian Open, for the women's version of that last week. And she was like 67, 68 in the first round of that tournament last week. I mean, she's a hell of a player. She's very mature beyond her years. And she grew about 1.5 feet to 2 feet the past, 6 or 7 months. So, I mean, she's, doubled in size and bigger arc, longer distance off the tee. But she really puts the time and effort in to being a upper echelon player. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw her out there before the age of 18 on a regular basis, just how well she plays. I know she's played some AJGA events, and she's won just about every event that she's been in. U.S. Kids, she's a lifetime exemption there. She is still, I think, the age of 18. So, I mean, she obviously elevated to the AJGA, and she's finished like second in the Rolex Cup points for kids. And world rankings. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for her. And like I said, she's a great student and a great student of the game, and her parents let her do her thing, and she's done wonderful, with it. And, if someone's looking to pattern themselves after somebody, the way that she handles herself in the interviews, I think are tough, especially coming off, the close loss at the final of the match play for the U.S. Junior Am. Never cried, never batted an eye. Just basically said, "Hey, that player was better than me today." And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I mean, it was a tough pill to swallow when the cameras and the microphone's in your face 2 steps after walking off that last hole, after you know that you've just busted it for 2 weeks and you finally lost. I just think that her composure and the way she handles herself is exceptional, well beyond her years. Probably better than I could handle myself at 45 years old. She's doing it at 14. So she's fun to watch, and I hope she makes the cut this week, and I hope she does well.
Anytime I see children that age, that disciplined, and that mature, it just blows me away. Because like at 14, I wasn't even nowhere close to that, and it's like biology fights against you because you're not really matured yet, and all of a sudden you're doing all those things that take so much maturity. It's incredible. Anytime someone says young people aren't mature, I just point them to people like that and say, yeah, they can be. Some people aren't, but they absolutely can be. That we haven't lost the young people. They're not off the wagon.
No, she definitely is somebody to look at, to idolize. I mean, she's raised the bar, and she does everything well. She's very well rounded, and it's exciting to see that the level of maturity at 14 years of age, and what her goals are and where she wants to go. I just think it's pretty cool that I can text her dad back and forth as I'm watching her play on TV, and he's giving me, hey, she's having trouble with this, or she's having this and she's doing that. It's neat to be able to do that in someone that I know that you can watch and follow, and it's very special. And she's from Warren, so I mean, she spends half the time up here and half the time in the winter down in Florida. So to be able to juggle back and forth, and the travel that they have to put in from time and practice, and the money and the expenses on that, I mean, she's a special person, and it's great to see her do well.
All right, Brian, thank you for joining us this week and taking the time as always. We look forward to next week's segment, and you're always welcome at any time on Running Point. Really, if you ever want to pop in on another day, just give me a text. I'll send you the link. You're always welcome. Doors always open.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon.
Brian Tolnar, the golf guru of Mill Creek Golf Course, joining us, and we're going to pop right from her to maybe a defensive guru in the libero of the Canfield volleyball team. Parker Wilkins joins us. Parker, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for so much for having me.
I'll start it off with that. Libero, defensive minded. How much pride do you take in your defense? In that back row.
I honestly love defense. I think it's so much fun. I have great back row players with me, Maddie Cleveley, Alana Lawson. I mean, it's so much fun back there.
So I ask every libero this because every time an outsider watches volleyball with me, the first question they ask is, who's that player in the other colored jersey? Why are they doing that? It doesn't really. How many times have you been asked why you wear a different jersey from maybe your student people, your friends in the school that don't play volleyball? How much have you been asked that question?
Honestly, a lot. Either somebody asked me and they think I wear the wrong jersey, or sometimes if they ask what position I play, I just say that I wear the other color jersey because nobody really knows what libero is.
Now, you didn't wear the other color jersey in your previous years when playing at Canfield, but now you get that spotlight here in your senior season. How much did that help you getting some varsity experience before this year?
I mean, it was good. I've played libero for the past 3 years. I mean, it's been a great time. I took my sister's spot. She was libero when I was a freshman. It was great taking her spot and being able to follow after her.
So basically what you're saying is when you graduate, it'll end a long string of Wilkins being a libero at Canfield. What go a little bit more into that legacy and taking over that, and what it's meant to you to uphold it the last 3 years, and how much pride you've taken in that?
I mean, it's been great. I'm lucky to have my sister who got to lead me, and even now she coaches me and she just helps me out. So being able to watch her when I was in middle school and even freshman year, I got to see how I wanted to play and learn from her. So it's just been nice to have a great role model to watch for the past few years and then be able to take her spot and just follow after her.
You've played a lot of matches at Canfield, but to start this season, this has to be one of the toughest stretches that you have been throughout this program. Playing Hoban, playing Girard, Western Reserve, and Boardman, all 4 good teams to start the season. What has this stretch kind of taught this team? Because you guys have been through a little bit of some lumps in the road so far to start.
I think starting this year, we were all very nervous because we lost Abby Householder and we just honestly didn't know how we were going to be. We're a very short team this year, as you can probably tell. But I think these first few games, even though some of them we didn't come out on top, I think it really taught us that we can battle with everybody and we are just as good as those teams if we play how we know how to play.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because you brought up losing a householder, and I think a lot of people outside the program, volleyball fans in the area, thought, okay, that because of what she meant to the team, that it was going to be an inexperienced team this year. But I think people forgot that you still have 6 seniors. So, how much is leaning on the experience and the 6 leaders that you have in that room been a factor in still having success this season?
We've had majority of the seniors have played varsity last year too, and we've been playing together since 7th grade. So I think that even though we did lose one of our biggest players, we have such great team chemistry together that we pull through on some things that people who don't have that chemistry can't. And so I think it's been great having those seniors all together because it's really affected how we play in a positive manner.
This is Krista's first year as the head coach, although she has been in the program before as an assistant. How is this offseason a little bit different than your past couple of years with this program?
Getting a new coach is always different, but I think that Krista picked up right where we left off. I think that she knew us all pretty well as players already because she's been in the program and we all knew her as a coach. So honestly, I think there was definitely things definitely changed, but overall, I think that she knew how to pick it up straight from the beginning and we've been playing great. She's really listened to the players a lot this year, which is nice. So she wants our feedback, we give it to her, and she really just wants what's best for us.
No matter how many players you lose or gain throughout season, every team is unique. Every team has a unique characteristic or a unique personality. What makes this team this year unique from the teams that you've been on in the past in Canfield?
Like I said before, we've been playing together for so long. Like 7th grade, we've all been on the same school team. So I honestly think that our team chemistry is really what pulls us apart from each other. We are comfortable around each other. We can communicate with each other. We talk to each other. We're not only friends just on volleyball, we're friends outside of volleyball. We hang out all the time. So I think that is one thing that has really brought us together this year is our team chemistry.
Lead the team in digs this year as a libero. You average like 8, which is kind of crazy per set. But what goes into that for a single set? What is different when you go to the huddle in between sets? How do you prepare for the next one and kind of move on?
I mean, we all talk to each other in the huddles and kind of just hype each other up between sets. So I think my teams really help me out. Like they'll come up to me and tell me how great I did or that like I can get the next one. I think they all hype us up very well. And no matter what, even if we lose the set before or if we won, we get each other going for the next set, regardless of the outcome of the last one, so that we're prepared for the next set.
What's it like getting, leading the team in the statistic that doesn't get a lot of attention? It doesn't get the kills. It's not the one that, gets the headlines. You're kind of under the radar. You get to do all the dirty work. How much pride do you take in being that kind of person?
I mean, I feel great. I think it doesn't necessarily get the headlines like you said, but my team really supports me with it. Like, yeah, the crowd will cheer for kills and stuff, but my teammates will come up to me and tell me how big that was. They really help me out and like motivate me in that. So it might not be big, but I think my team is really good at like recognizing everybody.
And your teammates have also talked about how good you have been in the back row defensively and what goes into a match. Do you watch film on certain hitters before you go into that match and know their tendencies and where they hit so you can slide over down the line or play it cross court?
Yeah, we watch film every so often. There's honestly a lot of teams we play around. I've played with the hitters for club. So I've learned kind of their techniques and their hitting styles, or just from past games, I've remembered how they hit. Before the game, we try to watch them too as they're warming up. And even just a few hits in, you could really learn where they're going to hit, where they're like normal hitting spot, where they're comfortable hitting. So just before the game, I think learning that is pretty easy. And yeah, we watch film every so often though, which really helps us.
When you think about your game plans and the things that you put into it, Take us through the feeling of getting that big dig and how much work, how much work goes into it, how much preparation goes into it, and then you finally get it. What's that feel like to take away a kill from someone?
It's a great feeling. It's a lot of fun because usually I'll have to dive on the floor. In the moment, it feels great, but most of the time, then the game still goes on. So you can't get too excited right after it. But right after the dig, I feel great. I have to we focus on finishing the point. And then after that, the team always jumps up and gives me a nice hug or high fives me, and it feels amazing.
What I've always been impressed with is how fast you liberos and you are able to get up and get back into the play after you dive on the floor. I mean, it's like one of those, I got to get back up. I can't, lay there on the floor after a dig. Going all out, was that something you've always been able to do? Or is that something that you had to kind of build confidence in yourself to be able to say, I can dive for this, I can jump for this?
I feel like it's always been something I've been able to do. I used to play softball and I would always be in the outfield and I love to dive for fly balls and stuff like that. So I was very comfortable hitting the floor. And just in volleyball, I've been playing since I was 10. So I learned from when I was very young on how to dive, that you have to dive to get some of these balls up. So it's never a question in my mind on if I'm going to dive. It's kind of natural at this point.
Now that you're a senior, you're not afraid of any hitter on the outside. But when you were a sophomore going back and you were making your first couple varsity starts, were you ever afraid of some hitters, like that they hit too hard?
I mean, every so often, I feel like I'd get a little scared, but I love it. I love when you get a great dig off of an amazing hitter. So it's one of those, it's more exciting, I'd say, than nerve wracking. But when I was a sophomore, I definitely got nervous, but my teammates would always support me and get me excited and cheer me up. So I think I get more excited than anything.
I feel like being a libero is kind of like a sisterhood among the volleyball community. We have a lot of good ones in the YSN family. We've had a lot of good ones that have graduated. Who is your favorite like libero that you've played against that you would love to have on your team if you were given the opportunity?
Um, I honestly don't know. I know there's a passer. She's played libero before, Adele Peters from West Branch, and we've played together for a few years. But I love playing next to her. She's a great player, has the best attitude. So I would say her, and then Julia Blasco. She plays for Crestview now. She also is a great player. We also played club one tournament for nationals together, and she was just so much fun to be around. Such an aggressive player, and just a great person overall.
Throughout your 4 years, what is the club team that you've played for, and what was that experience like, kind of getting away from the high school volleyball aspect of things?
I've played for Infinity since I was 10, so I'm pretty comfortable there. I've played up in age group for most of the years there, but for the past 2 years, I think I've played down in my age group, and we've been a national team. So it's been such great competition. It's such a great environment. It's so nice because, like I said, I get to play with these girls around the area, and it's just not just Canfield. So it's been a lot of fun. We went to nationals this year in Florida, and it was just a great experience. So it's a lot of fun. I love Infinity.
I gotta imagine, being a national team, you see so many good hitters in that experience. How much has that helped you in your high school realm? I imagine there's no one that brings something extra to the table that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, it really prepares me for high school season because, I mean, it's the best in club. So it's really exciting playing against those really good hitters, and it also prepares me for school. So I'm seeing these players, and I even recognize them from club that we play in school. So it really does help prepare me.
This is a big week for your team. You got 4 matches in a span of 5 days. You got Mineral Ridge tonight, which is undefeated. You take on East and then a good McDonald team on Saturday. Mentally, how do you guys stay focused throughout this long week, because you're not going to be practicing in between these matches?
Before the games, usually we all go into the locker room and talk to each other, prepare ourselves for the game. And we knew we were going to have a long week. So we've really focused. Like Monday, we had practice, and we said we really have to focus in on this practice because we have 3 games in a row. There's no break. So I think we all knew going into the week that we were going to have to focus, and each day we're just going to have to be ready to play.
In a week like this, with no practices between games, how much do you guys rely on your ability to coach yourselves and kind of realize, okay, in this match, maybe I struggle a little bit with this, or maybe we didn't do this quite right, so we have to correct it in tomorrow's match, without being able to go into the gym and correct it with the coaching staff and correct it with, a practice atmosphere?
I think most of us watch our game film the day of or night of or the next day. So I think knowing that we had a game yesterday, we have watched the film and we know what we need to work on for the next game. I think everybody's very good at doing this themselves. And our team is really just, we go outside of volleyball to keep working on it. So I think everyone has been good and knows exactly what they need to do for the next game.
When is your favorite time to watch game film? Everyone has like a time that they like to do it. Some people like to do it at night. Some people like to do it in the morning. What's your favorite time to do it?
I usually watch it on the bus ride back from the game or right when I get home. I watched Girard the night that we played them, and I started watching Howland on the bus ride back. So I like watching it then or just kind of right before I go to bed so I can just lay in bed and just watch film.
For you, volleyball is kind of instilled in your blood, but what are some other things that you like to do outside of playing volleyball when you have free time?
I love hanging out with my friends and my family. My friends and I will go get food or just hang out every so often. My family and I mean, they're over all the time. I have 2 sisters and 2 nephews. So we're always having family time. We have a certain show that we watch almost every single night together. So honestly, probably just hanging out with my friends and family.
All right, Parker, we know they're behind you. We're behind you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We look forward to covering you throughout the rest of your senior season. And then we wish you the best of luck, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Parker Wilkins, the libero, and that girl that wears the different colored jersey. That's how I love that. I'm just the person that wears the different colored jersey. Did she forget it? What I love the questions I get is someone like everyone kind of understands that I watch volleyball. So if I'm watching a game with someone that doesn't know the sport, they'll be like, Anthony, what's up with that?
Well, what's funny too is I saw something going around, and I don't have TikTok, but there was this one volleyball player who went to the national convention was saying how do you correctly pronounce libero?
Oh, yeah. Some people say libero.
Some
people say libero. I think it's like tomato, tomato. I think there's no correct way to do it. I just say libero. That's how I grew up with it. So we are going to be joined by our next senior and Carly Slavin. We're barreling right through these Canfield seniors. This is the 5th out of 6. Carly, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Carly, as an outside hitter now for Canfield, you've done a little bit of everything for this team. I mean, you're multi-dimensional. You dig it well, you serve it well, and you hit it well. In the offseason, what prepared you to play all 3 stages of volleyball?
I would say I played a lot of outside in club, and I also set and hit right side. So that prepared me a lot because I could do every game. I was still playing off season.
We've talked to most of your senior teammates already. What's it like to be a part of such a big senior class and to be able to kind of have this group that you've played together with for so long?
It's definitely fun. I wouldn't want it any other way. I love having the 9 girls, and we all just click really well, and we have a lot of fun together.
And now with Krista as the head coach coming in, a part of the staff, and your senior year and her first year as the head coach at Canfield, what are some differences that you maybe noticed in a positive way that she's brought to the table that you haven't seen in the past?
She's brought a lot of positivity to our team. She really helps us work together. She's always encouraging us, which is really nice.
When you kind of, you understood that you were going to get a new coach and it was going to be Krista, everyone says the seniors have to buy into the new philosophy. Being the fact that she was already in the program, you knew her, how easy was it to kind of buy into what she was trying to turn this program into, especially for you 6 seniors?
It was super easy for me because she was my JV coach. So I already knew her coaching style a lot, and I really clicked well with her. She's one of my favorite coaches.
You guys got a lot of off-season work, and we were talking with some of the players earlier, and Abby Muckelroy, and she talked about your trip to Cedar Point along with Kalahari. How much did that help this team in the off-season? Because with COVID, you couldn't do that in the past, but now that things have kind of cleared up, how much fun was that and being able to interact with your teammates and get to know everybody a little bit better?
That was a really fun experience. We got to bond a lot during that. It was nice to do something with the team that we haven't really done before. I definitely think they should do it again.
What was your favorite part of that trip? If you had to look back and say this was the best memory on that trip, what would it be?
I would say being at Cedar Point and waiting in the lines with the girls. We had a lot of fun.
What was the best roller coaster at Cedar Point?
I don't know. I don't know the names of them.
I don't know. Just that one that takes really high, drops you. It's all good.
Yeah, they're all the same to me.
All right. Anyway, with losing Householder last year, you've kind of stepped in now in a role where you're one of the primary outside hitters and the attackers on this team. Do you kind of feel any pressure coming into these matches, or is it kind of a what, I'm here to do my job. I got other players around me that can set me up, like Kincaid, and you also have some other outside hitters like Bucciarelli. Or do you feel any pressure at all when you come into a match?
I wouldn't say I really feel that much pressure, but I do feel like there's a role that I have to live up to. Abby House was a really great player, and I just do my best.
What about nerves before a game? Do you get the butterflies in the stomach? And if you do, when do they go away? How do you get rid of them? And what's that experience like pregame for you?
I used to get a lot of nerves before I played, but now I feel really comfortable on the court, which is nice. It's a lot easier to play that way.
Like I said a little bit earlier, you've done a little bit of everything when it comes to digging and hitting as well. What is your favorite thing to do? Are you like it better in the back row, or do you like the feeling of getting that big kill?
I like hitting a lot, but setting's definitely my favorite. That's always been my thing ever since I was younger.
What was the hardest skill set to kind of grasp when you were growing up with volleyball and trying to learn the sport? What was the one that you took the longest to master?
I could never hit. It was always hard for me to learn the steps and hit the ball at the same time.
Now, the reason that you're here, you guys have school off, which is really nice during this 3-match stretch with the Canfield Fair, and, born and raised in Canfield. Do you love going to the fair, or is it like, you know what, it's here again, whatever, it's that season?
Of course I love the fair. I'll be going quite a few times this week.
What's your favorite part of the fair? What's your go-to place to go in the fair?
Well, I'm really for the food. I usually get a pickle. I love pickles, or they have those frozen grapes.
All right, so you still eat healthy, because I don't think I've ever heard anybody get a pickle or
maybe it's a deep fried pickle. Is it a deep fried pickle?
No, fresh.
No.
See, the good thing is, though, you got to keep that diet ready, because you have a match tonight against Mineral Ridge. So you can't be going to the fair and eating all these fatty foods and then playing tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So you have a healthy diet, but there's got to be something that's your guilty pleasure dessert, or something that you eat that's kind of that guilty pleasure. What is it for you?
I eat a lot of bagels. That's definitely my favorite thing.
That's not even that bad. I eat bagels.
Yeah, it's like
I consider that healthy. Going back into pregame, when you prepare for a match, maybe what are some things that you're doing before? Are you watching those hitters warm up? And, what do you do as a player before you prepare for a match?
A lot of times in our warm-up, you can see where the hitters are hitting, and I just know if I need to be ready or what the open spots are on the court that I can help my hitters out and help myself out.
Are you a superstitious volleyball player? Is there any routines that you have to stick to, or things you have to do during a game, or it kind of throws off your rhythm?
Honestly, not really. I feel like I do different things every game, and it is what it is.
You come from a great family and a great supporting cast. Maybe give a shout out to your mom and dad, who are always there for you at the games.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, and all my grandparents for always coming to support me.
What is your favorite thing to do outside of volleyball when you kind of need a break from the sport and you need to let your mind unwind?
I like to cook a lot, and I also work a lot. I work at a dog kennel, so I like to see the dogs. It's kind of relieving.
All right, so what's your favorite dish to cook?
I make a lot of salmon.
It's like smoked salmon? Because I'm starting to think that we need to hook up and get some smoked salmon.
Oh, I've never made smoked salmon before.
Okay. Well, salmon's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you graduated Canfield, where do you want to go for college? Have you made up your mind? And maybe what are some things that you want to study in college?
I don't know what I want to study yet, but I think Ohio State's my #1 college right now that I want to apply to. Yeah.
Getting some love in the comments section, and obviously you get a lot of support from the Canfield community and your fans. What's it like to be in that home gym, hear the crowd behind you, and have them give you so much energy?
That's one of the best feelings. When you get the energy from the crowd, it also gives the players energy. It makes it a lot more fun of a game. It's more exciting.
What was it like last night, too? Because, again, Boardman, Boardman's JV and freshman team had a little student section behind their bench, but then your freshman and JV team had a little student section across your bench. So what was it like playing last night in a great atmosphere at Canfield?
Boardman definitely brought a lot of energy, and that made it really fun. And so did our JV, and we had our 7th and 8th grade there too that supported us a lot. So that made it a fun game.
When you graduate and you look back at your career at Canfield, what are going to be some of your favorite memories, not just with the volleyball team, but with this student body and with this school system?
I think I have a lot of good memories. I like all of our assemblies, like our pep assemblies and fun things that we do with this school.
And with the 7th and 8th grade teams in attendance last night, you're acting almost as a role model to some of these girls that are looking up to you. What are some of the things on the court that you want to teach them that they can learn and grow from?
I think a lot at the younger level, you usually struggle with confidence, and I want them to see that us as high school girls are really confident on the court. And I think it might help them to see that and realize that they can do that and help their game a lot.
Before we let you go, got to talk about your future plans and some of the things that you want to see yourself in, maybe a career or a job that you want to see yourself in the next 5 years.
Well, I want to be successful, but I don't know what I want to do yet. So whatever I do, I'll probably be really into it, you know.
All right, Carly, thank you so much for joining us today, giving us an insight into your senior season. We look forward to covering you the rest of the year, and we wish you the best of luck. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you for having me.
Carly Slavin, another senior, another leader of that Canfield volleyball team. They are full of leaders, that's for sure. Let's get this lower third off, and let's get us back to normal. Oop, boop. You've covered this Canfield team, a lot of leaders on that court, and you can see it.
Oh, they're very experienced. And, like Parker talked about a little bit, they know that they started off slower, and McElroy talked about this as well, but they know that they can hang with any team around this area. Even like Girard in that match, they were up 2-1 going in the fourth set, and they actually had the lead later on, and they were so close to closing it out. But, one attacking error led to another, and, things kind of folded up. But they know that they can hang with the best of the teams around this area. So, they got a lot of confidence. They got a lot of seniors, and it's been fun to, talk to them a little bit. And, it's also going to help us, when we go to broadcast their matches, because we are now full of content to talk about.
We got one more coming up. It's going to be Alana Lawson, but before that, let's pop her in. She just popped in, so let's get Alana on the screen, and let's conclude. Last but not least of the Canfield seniors, it is Alana Lawson. Alana, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Alana, when I watch your matches, the one thing that I really impresses me about you is you come off the bench sometimes and you're able to serve really well. When you come off and serve like that, what goes through your mind when you're entering into the match?
I know last year a lot of what Coach Brooklyn asked of me was to just get my serve over and have a strong aggressive serve. So I've kind of carried that into this year. I used to work a lot on my serve. I used to not be able to get my serve over the net at all. So I've always worked really hard to have a nice strong serve.
I know servers have a routine. What's your kind of routine, and what's kind of your way to get locked in on the service line?
Honestly, I just bounce the ball 3 times, and then I pick it up and put my hand on it, and then I do my toss.
You've also been really good when you come in defensively. Do you take a lot of pride in your defense, and what do you like doing better, serving or digging?
I do take a lot of pride in my defense. It's always been something that I love. I love getting a good up, hustling to get a good up. I think passing is my favorite part of volleyball. It's just something that I've done all of these years. I think it's just so amazing to get a good dig and feel the energy of everyone, because I know we talk a lot the hitters get a lot of the thrill when they get the kill, but I just think it's so amazing when we get recognition for it too.
So that being said, what's the favorite feeling? Is it the big dig on a big, swing, or is it a big time ace that you get on the service line? What's the better feeling for you?
I would kind of say the dig probably. I think that's serving, I control that more so, but when I get a pass, I'm passing girls that are swinging so fast and super good hitters, and I just think it's more, I feel better when I get a good dig.
You could tell the energy in the building when you guys play really well defensively. What makes playing with this large group of seniors a lot of fun?
I love these girls. A lot of them are my best friends, even outside of volleyball. And I think we've played together for so long. I know a lot of the seniors have said it, but we just have such good team chemistry. I mean, we work really well together. We're able to talk to each other about our concerns or what we do good too. And I just think it's so much fun to play with them. I wouldn't want to play with anyone else.
All right, so our CEO has a question in the comment section, and it's an interesting one because in volleyball, there's that second after the whistle that the gym gets real quiet. You can hear a pin drop. Do you notice that? Does it bug you? Do you even realize that it gets real quiet right before a serve?
Not really. So I've kind of like my parents have asked me this before. Like I feel like I really tune everything out right before I serve. Like I know like before big games if like the other student section's cheering or something, I think I do a pretty good job of tuning it out most times. Obviously there's some times when you know like pressure's there, but a lot of the time I kind of tune out what's going on around me and just focus on the serve.
What have been some of your favorite moments so far with the Canfield volleyball program? A lot of seniors, and everybody's kind of talked about that one trip that you guys made to Cedar Point and Kalahari. But what are some of your favorite moments that you've had with this group of girls?
Yeah, I think that was definitely a big one. I think a lot of our favorite games, I don't know if this has been mentioned yet, but our eighth grade championship game against Fitch, we all loved that. There was so much energy in that game, and that'll always be a game that sticks with me. It was just such a fun game to play with everyone.
There's a big volleyball rivalry with Fitch even right now with these two teams that go at it. It seems like every time you step on the floor, it's a 5-set thriller. Haven't played them yet this year. But going into this year, what's it going to be like to have that kind of last go of that rivalry, and how important will it be for you to try to beat Fitch, your last year?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely a game we're looking forward to. I think it'll be such a fun game. We actually played them in a scrimmage at the beginning, like end of June. And it was a very good game, just like that. It was a 3-set match. It was very close the whole time. I think it's something we're all looking forward to. It's something we're all, probably a little bit nervous about, but something we're gonna play our best because we want to go out and win our last game against them because it has been a rivalry for a super long time.
Your team has a very tough schedule this year. You already started off with two of the best teams around this area in Girard and Archbishop Hoban, but going down the list, you're going to take on a Hathaway Brown team, a Lakeview, a Talmadge, a Poland, Austintown, Fitch. How much does that prepare your team for the postseason, knowing that you guys are experienced and you can make a run going into the tournament?
Yeah, I think Coach Crystal was talking about this the other day. We'd much rather like be able to compete and play hard teams than just have a perfect winning season. Like we want to be able to win, obviously, but at the same time, we want to be challenging ourselves and not just playing teams that we know we're going to kill. So I think playing all these super good teams from around the area is really going to help us in tournament because we're going to be exposed to stronger hitters, stronger serves, stronger blockers, stronger passers, all that type of stuff, rather than just playing teams that we know we're going to blow out.
Through this tough schedule, how have you guys been able to keep confidence up? Because you go in, you're playing really good teams, you're not going to win every game, and you have to be able to stay confident even when you lose.
Yeah, for sure. I think confidence is something that I've always struggled with. I know Coach Krista sees it a lot. But when we play confident, we play so much better. And a lot of my teammates are always there for me if I'm having a hard game. Like even yesterday, Muck came up to me and she was like, "You're playing so great. Like, don't worry." I think we really hold each other to like a standard. And when we're playing down, like we make sure we go over to our teammates and we lift them up. We've talked about that a lot too. We need to keep like a positive spirit. And I think our team, especially our seniors, we do that even well. But even our juniors, like they all support us really well. So I think we just have a really good support system behind us to keep us confident in playing.
Quick follow up to that, since you said you struggle with your confidence, who is the one person or the player or the coach that is the best at building your confidence when you do have those moments where you're not feeling great about yourself?
So the first year that Coach Krista was at Canfield, she rebuilt my confidence. I had a really hard club year. I played for a team where I would just get pulled out constantly for one error, so it really killed my confidence. But when I came back to Canfield and I played with Krista for JV, she completely rebuilt my confidence, and she's always there to try and tell me, "You're doing well. You just need to be more confident." I think she's always there. But even my teammates, like Parker always talks to me. Like I said, Muck always talks to me. They all come up to me and make sure that I feel confident and know that I'm doing well, even if I'm being hard on myself.
Big victory last night against Boardman. That was a thriller with a big crowd, and it was loud in that building last night. Kind of talk about the environment that Canfield brings and maybe some of your favorite moments with the student section that you played in front of while you've been at Canfield.
Yeah, so a lot of my friends were up there. I know my one friend, Emmy Rubin, she's always screaming my name. It's honestly like such an awesome feeling, like seeing that you're being recognized and your friends are there. We've always had like a good support system at Canfield, like supporting each other's sports. So I think it's really cool to see everyone be there.
Have you ever had a nickname? And if so, what's your favorite kind of nickname that people call you?
I don't really have like a nickname that everyone calls me. Our manager, Bree Fischel, she likes to call me Lonnie, and she says mow the lawn. So that is my current nickname from her.
Now, the city of Canfield is known for the fair, and that's happening right now. Do you like going to the fair? And if so, what do you like to eat? Because we just got off with Slavin, and she talked about eating fried pickles and like.
No, it wasn't even
grapes.
fried. She was way healthy.
Yeah, like pickles and grapes. So, I mean, do you go in there and you get like all the fried foods?
I really don't. I watched Carly's, and that was just so fitting for Carly because she is a healthy eater. So I wasn't surprised to hear that at all. I was actually there today because I went to go watch my friend in her cheer show, and then we just walked around for a little. Today I got a stromboli. I love the strombolis there. I get like weird stuff. Like I'll go get like chicken fried rice and stuff like that. So I'm kind of odd too. I don't eat all like the fried food either.
Okay, but are you like do you have some guilty pleasure, foods that you like to put in your body, whether it's desserts, fried food, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I do love dessert. I will always eat dessert. It honestly doesn't matter what it is, cookies, ice cream, brownies. I love dessert.
Now, you can't do that today, though, because you got a big match coming up tonight against Mineral Ridge. And this is a big stretch for your team because you're looking to get back to 500 and then improve to a winning season. How big is this stretch for your team confidence-wise? Because if you could sweep this week, you're back into the winning column, and you've won 4 on the last 5 days.
Yeah, the last couple of games, they've been really tough games. I think we've battled through a lot of them, but obviously coming out of them and not winning has, hurt us a little bit. I think last night we finally saw that even when we got down in that one set, we were able to bring all the energy back on our side and win. So I think if we do the same thing these next couple of hard games with Mineral Ridge and McDonald, then I think we'll be just as fine. And then once we win those, I think our confidence will be right back up to where we want it to be because we have those wins in our pocket then.
It's a road game tonight, so the best part about road games are snack bags. What parent makes the best snack bag for you guys?
I don't know. No one's really made us anything yet. I know
No.
Maddie's mom, she had like a whole box of stuff for us the one day and we were all picking through, so I guess it would have to be her.
What's that one like snack bag type food that you look at and you say, oh, if it's in the snack bag, it's a good day?
Right now, we're all into graham crackers for some reason. We carry a box of graham crackers with us. So that is our snack right now.
And when you travel, it's got to be nice to be able to sleep in this morning. You don't have school. You have the advantage over Mineral Ridge and then East tomorrow. What's it like? Because it's got to be out of your routine a little bit because you're getting used to waking up for school and then you travel and then you play and then you do homework and you repeat. What's it like kind of getting up and not having to worry about any homework or anything before you play?
Yeah, it's definitely more relaxing. Like in school, like I feel like I'm rushing around a lot. So I feel like it's kind of brought me down a level. I'm a little more relaxed and ready to go and focused on the game rather than school and homework and all that type of stuff.
All right, Alana, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to shout out your support system, the people that are always there for you and the people that you wouldn't be where you are right now without.
Yeah, for sure. My parents are always there for me. They're super supportive. I'm an only child, so I get a lot of their attention. So they're always there. But I also want to shout out my grandparents. My grandpa was a volleyball coach, and he comes to every single game possible, and my grandma too. They're always there, and I just can't thank them enough for always being there for me.
Alana, thank you for joining us today and giving us a good insight into your senior season. We definitely wish you the best of luck all year. We'll be covering you throughout the season. And we once again thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Alana Lawson rounds out the 6 volleyball seniors from Canfield that we've been able to talk to today. And man, it's just been so cool to kind of see the different personalities. And I asked it with Abby McElroy, like, you bring all different leadership qualities to the table with 6 seniors. And just when you get all of them at once, you really realize they are all different, and you can see they all probably bring different pieces of that leadership puzzle to the table.
Yeah, you could kind of tell some of them are a little bit quiet, some of them are outgoing, others are very humble, and some are, they're out there. They don't care what anybody else says. They're going to attack you, and it takes that type of team to build a good one, in my opinion. Because if everybody's the same, what fun is that? I mean, you're not going to have no leadership.
You really can't have 6 vocal leaders. It's almost too many cooks in the kitchen. You got to have some people that just show up and lead by example. Some people that lead behind the scenes. Maybe if a player's struggling with someone, they're the one that they can go to. And then you got to have your raw energy leaders. And I think they have a good mixture of all 3 of those.
I agree with you. And I think this is going to be a team to look out for. And, I think it's going to be a great match tonight against Mineral Ridge. And if they could come out with a victory, and they're looking good for a sweep this week, I'll tell you that, which would be huge for this team. Because if you win 4 in a span of 5 days, and then you're going to take on Harding at home, and then Fitch is coming up the 13th of September, and then the 15th is Harding. So, they could buckle up for a good season, because like I said, they've got one of the hardest schedules in the Valley. I mean, they're playing Hathaway Brown, who historically has been really good. Lakeview, as you've already seen, Anthony, is one of the best teams. They're playing some Lakeview team. I don't even know where this team's from. Cottonwood, Minnesota, I think.
I think if you're looking at Max Preps, when we were doing the schedule preview, there were some schools that they have doppelgangers in Ohio that have the same name, and I think Max Preps just put it as the Michigan team.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's Michigan. I think it's as I think some football teams had that too on Max Preps. It was weird.
I was gonna say, I saw them there's no way they're playing this game.
There's a Niles from Mississippi, so one team was playing Niles McKinley, but Max Preps. Maybe they didn't put McKinley, so Max Preps just took it as Niles from that Mississippi. It's okay, we're traveling to Mississippi, boys.
Talking about Canfield, though, and if you do go on Max Preps, they play a football team, St. Thomas More, and it says they're from Ontario, Canada. That's actually factual.
That's actually fact.
From Canada.
That's why you never know, because these teams are starting to play teams from way outside the state. Is this right or is this wrong? I don't know.
What is it? Team chartered in? They're flying into Youngstown Airport and playing us on Monday?
The one that I knew was wrong, because it was the volleyball team was playing, at home on Monday, and then it said Monday at 8. They were away. I was like, they can't play a home game and then go to Mississippi an hour later. Oh, it would have been fun. That was a fun show. Like I said, welcome to Running Point, Rich. This is the busiest show we've ever had. I think we've filled it up from block A to block, whatever, Z, with interviews. It was a fun ride. You'll be back next Wednesday. You'll be back every Wednesday with Running Point. And we thank you for filling in the time gap. We hope you have fun. And this was a great show. We're going to be back tomorrow. Michael Palmer is one confirmed guest for tomorrow. The running back from Girard will be on with us at 1:30. Me and DJ will be able to talk to him coming off of his 1,000-yard season. That Girard team, man, it looks like they're running with their hands on fire. It looks really good.
They look great. And, I think Girard might be the one team that can contend with South Range this year in the NE8, which is
always something different. It's always someone different. It was Poland and Hubbard took that mantle last year. Now it's starting to look like Girard, but I think Jefferson might have something to say about it too. It's always someone trying to poke the South Range bear.
And you have to, because they've lost one game in the NE8 to Niles. That's it.
So we'll be back tomorrow. And then, of course, Friday's going to be the fun day where me and Ty preview all the games that are coming up Friday night. So stay tuned, Running Point. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next. Power Hour from 3 to 4. And then we do have games on the network tonight as well. Head over to ysnlive.com/live to check out our schedule of games. All of them are free. Main part thanks to our wonderful sponsors. So make sure you support the people that you see on our commercials and check out the games tonight on ysnlive.com.